In order, roll call please.
Mayor Morris,
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Curtis,
Here.
Alderman Green,
Here.
Alderman Welch,
Here.
Alderman Madray,
Here.
Alderwoman Jones.
Here.
Mayor, you do have a quorum.
Thank you very much. Woody, would you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I pledge this flag, I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Thank you, everybody, for coming out. Glad to see such participation. I think we have our first is special presentation. We have some reserve officers. Chief, are you out there?
He's there.
Is that a crime?
Should be this on website.
I want to take this picture with somebody. And they're saying no.
Mayor and council,
Hey, Chief.
this evening we have the distinct pleasure of swearing in 3 new officers. Like I told you when I was hired on, that we would bring them to you, so the citizens get to see them, see their faces, get to know them, know a little bit about them. I got the 3 gentlemen. Could I have them come up here for me, please?
I thought you already know this voice.
Yes, the family is welcome to come up and take photos, your friends, whoever you got. We'll start, gentleman here on the left, Tim Shimmick, okay? Is from Robbie, Texas. He's married, has 5 children, 11 grandchildren, a lot of grandkids. He has been an officer for 15 years and also a supervisor down in Gonzales, Texas. He does motors for a living. He loves riding his motorcycle. He's also a certified motors officer, and he looks forward to becoming part of the Jamaica Beach family. In his off time, he rides motorcycles and rides with the Back the Blue Law Enforcement Motorcycle Club, which gives him access to several charitable events that he supports. I'll brag about Tim. The other day, he worked for me at Freeport PD. He's now here with me. He's a terrific asset. And all 3 of these guys are going to be reserve officers. We're adding them to our reserve force. Here recently, the other day, I asked him to do something for me, and he donated 100 t-shirts that say Cops and Kids on them. That's straight out of his pocket. That's what this man's about. And we are definitely going to hand those t-shirts out in the community. So welcome, Mr. Shimmick. And now we're going to go to Reginald Baptiste. Reginald is originally from Galveston, Texas, but now lives in Texas City, where he's been since the age of 8. He's done security work, and it has always been his dream to finally be able to say that he fulfilled his dream of becoming a police officer. He loves swimming pool, shooting, going to the gun range, and cruising. He has a 3-year-old son, this handsome gentleman right here, named Caleb, correct? He graduated. He has no experience at all. He actually just graduated in November from the College of the Mainland. We love getting officers that come homegrown from Galveston County, so we appreciate that. And last but not least, Jacob Garcia. Jacob comes from us from South Texas, like 15 minutes away from the U.S.-Mexican border. He has 18 years of law enforcement experience, which includes patrol, community outreach, traffic, major crimes, supervisory detective to admin, which we will utilize him a lot on that. His heart belongs to protecting his state, town, community, and serving them all. Law enforcement is not a career or a job to Jacob, it's his lifestyle. He is married to his beautiful wife, Elvira, who is also a Richwood police officer. So, gentlemen, we're going to get this thing, instead of doing one by one, I'm going to do them all 3 at the same time, Mayor. If you're okay with that, for time. All right, gentlemen. Here we go. We're just going to go in here. Raise your right hand for me, repeat after me. I
Reginald Baptiste,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I
that I
will faithfully
will faithfully
execute the duties
execute the duties
of the office
of the office
of police officer
of police officer
of the state of Texas,
of the state of Texas,
and will do the best
and will do the best
of my ability
of my ability
to preserve,
to preserve,
protect,
protect,
and defend
and defend
the Constitution
the Constitution
and laws
and laws
of the United States,
of the United States,
of this great state,
of this great state,
so help me God.
so help me God.
Welcome to Jamaica Beach. So, know your son now?
Chief Garvey,
710.
Chief Garvey,
Yes, ma'am.
would you be sure to give
Sure,
us-
let's do that. So you want to explain to them real quick what this is?
Yes, thank you,
Please explain to them what it is.
thank you. These are tokens of appreciation for, from the city of Jamaica Beach. We have congressional permission to repurpose the stars from the flags that are flown around the community. And we, package those and, to let you just have a keepsake, to let you know that a lot of, we really, really love our officers.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Thank you again for your time. Thank you. Yes, sir.
Thanks for coming. You don't have to.
Second special presentation, Mr. Brian Kramer with Mercer & Mercer. Would you like to step up?
Hey, Brian.
Hello, how y'all doing today?
Yes, sir.
Thanks for coming out.
Yes, always. We recently took bids on the, phase 4 of the Waterline project. We had, four bidders. Four bidders, and, after evaluation of the bids, we recommend that y'all, award the contract to Branch Construction.
And some of the documentation was in here, right?
Yes.
It's an agenda item, number 10.
Yeah. Okay, thank you, sir. We'll have you back up at, item number 10 as well.
Okay. Was there something?
That's it. July the 10th.
Wow.
Branch Construction, John Ashworth, please.
Hey, good evening. How are you all?
Doing good, John.
John Ashworth, and I know lots of you folks. We were here last month. Come on over, JW. So J.W. Gordon, he and I are both the principals in Branch Construction Group. And just give you a quick overview, we'll give you a quick update on what's happened since we have assumed the responsibility the first of the month. I have most of the commercial responsibilities within the company, and then JW, he has headship over all the field operations for the company. Dan Hudson lives in close proximity and really has been, he's project manager, he's down here pretty often, if not every day, and lives nearby. And then we also have Stephen, which is, he is starting on the first of the month, actually before that, but starting the first of the month. He is somebody that's here every day. So he's doing a lot of the things in the city. And we also have Ivan Rubidoux. Yeah, he is, if you kind of picture it, we have headship over both all the piping system in the city, the water, the sewer, the storm, the fire water lines. And then there's also the sewer, and there's also the oversight of the water that comes in here, the testing of it and so forth. So those sort of like, those plant operations, that's something he has headship over that. So that just kind of gives you a picture of who's over what. And since we've been here, just since the first of the month, you know, we have a rundown here on all the work orders. We execute work orders on every single job that's done. So that's part of what happens here is the, you know, capturing of that, what happens every day. It could be anything from a regular water leak to meter change out. And really, I know we've been around part of just, and I'll just give you a few of those. You know, a few of the issues were that previously the meters get read every month. So, you know, there's an electronic device in the meters that they go around, read those meters. And in a lot of cases, previously, the reading didn't happen because the configuration of the electronics to the meter were not functioning right. So I know that just in a couple of weeks, we've been around and we've walked down each one of those and we have fixed those. And the reason that helps you and it will save the city money is because now when they go around and they do the readings, they'll do it in one pass and that's it. They were having to come back to the city. The previous guy, the previous provider was charging extra for coming back and doing all the rereads and all that. So, you know, the person that's here, Stephen, he is regularly looking for leaks, walking down the lines. There's a real, last month we walked through that there's a schedule of activities that happen that get checked off on that are regular activities that are actually required by law, testing the fire water lines, keeping close eye on sewer lift stations and how all that functions, which is tightly regulated by the state of Texas. As to the plant, maybe you just give us your overview. I has been down here pretty much every day since the first of the month.
So we came in the first thing we did was we assessed basically where the plant's at as far as condition, how it's operating. So we took the first couple days, just started getting a laundry list of things that need to be repaired and maintenance. We developed a process control system, you know, daily wasting of wastewater, making sure that everything's working properly as far as like the treatment process goes. Once we got that down, it's just coming in every day and making sure everything's running smoothly. And then as far as like starting the maintenance stuff, we're coming in, starting to do some of the minor maintenance details, you know, changing bulbs, things like that. Getting with Branch to get some of the bigger items that need to be repaired or scheduled to get bids for repairs. So everything's looking really nice. We do have a section of the plant that is down. It's in pretty poor shape. So that side of the plant we're not using. And we've discussed it with Branch as well, so they'll give you details as far as like getting that back up and running and getting everything 100% operational. Other than that, the plant's looking great.
There's a report that we've submitted, okay, with the work orders that have been executed on the month, and then also a report which, you know, you guys are welcome to look at for sure. It's really a rundown already of the assessment of the plant, the inspection of the plant, what's really needed going forward to kind of bring it up to speed. It was not in good, you know, necessarily good condition. It needs some things, and, you know, we're happy to work with the city to go along and, as budgeted and such, help prioritize those things which we've already done to help it function better. And then there's just two other things really briefly. One of them is, I know that on day one, the laboratory testing that happens, which is prescribed by the state, and all the reporting that happens along the way, though that laboratory organization that was used prior, okay, we negotiated a lot better rate for the city, okay, to carry out those same testing. So, you know, there was like a 30 or 40% reduction in the costs of what the city was paying for that. So that is the other thing. And then on the rehab project, we did bid that project, and they announced tonight that we were awarded that project. But I want you to know that we came in lower on the price than anybody else, and I would say it's probably somewhat substantially lower. And the other side of that is that we expect to finish that project in about half of the time that the other bidders put forth. So they put out 90 days. We usually get in, we would expect to have that project completed in about 45 days, you know, weather permitting
I think
and
Brian's
such.
gonna talk about that.
Right.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to point that out.
Awesome. Okay. Thank you, guys. Next item is citizens request to speak before council. First, we don't have a public hearing. Last time. It's always a legit. First person will be Mr. Paul Wint.
First, okay, thanks. I didn't want to be first. I wanted to talk about the tree ordinance.
Yes, sir.
Anytime, you know, Big Brother wants to do something to property, of course, everybody says, well, let's not have that done, but I know I'm on the beautification committee, and I understand why we want to improve the looks of the city. But what I'm concerned about on the tree ordinance is, we have a lot of citizens here that are elderly, living on Social Security, just don't have a whole lot of money to pay out extra for the tree services. So we go and we find these people who are not cutting their trees down or cleaning their pond, we charge them $250, they don't do anything about it, we cut them down, the city has to get reimbursed for the work, then you look at $1,000 or better, $1,500. The people still don't have any money, then you have a lien put on their property, they can't sell it, they can't do anything with it. I'm suggesting that we need to put something in the ordinance for these type of people just do not have the money to take care of the trees. Either JBIC give some of that money to help them, or the city, somewhere down the line, we need to reach out, something in the ordinance that would, you know, attack that or take care of that. That's my concern.
Okay, thank you, sir. Ms. Ginger Jones.
We still have to give our address and
Yes,
everything.
sir.
Ginger Jones, 16612 Curlew. In looking at the easements in our section 23, when we built our home, the survey, the builder, the architect, everybody said it was 8 feet. Went to the city, it was 10 feet. So is it still 10 feet? That's what I'm wondering, because, you know, everybody should be playing by the same rules. So if y'all would look into that, I would appreciate it.
Okay.
And I wanna thank JBIC or whoever it was that got those pilings moved from our section. Hopefully it took the rats too.
Yeah, we'll get back in touch with you on that.
Okay.
Next person is Mr. Jerry Jackson.
Jerry Jackson, 16612 Curlew. We're going to talk about the boathouse recommendation from Mr. Birdsong. I look at this project as 2 lots. I don't look at it as a combination of the 2 lots. And I don't know if you still have, and I didn't make copies for everyone, but if you still have his drawings, do you still have his drawings? Okay. If you take the property line of between the 2 lots, one of the property lines goes straight through one of the boathouses. So I think we should look at each lot separately and evaluate what can be done on one lot, not as a combination of lots. Because when you sell a lot, you don't sell normally a combination of two lots when you sell your house. And I'm sure he's planning on putting, $350,000, $500,000 houses on these lots. You're not gonna sell both of them at the same time. So that's my projection on looking at that. And, on the other drawings, Troy has an option to put boathouse in the drawing that he furnished, that Mr. Birdsong furnished. This is Troy's house. He can put his boathouse here, or he can put it straight behind his house. He comes out 13 feet, and it would be hampering both boathouses. The one that he wants to come out 25 feet, Mr. Birdsong wants to come out 25 feet. If Troy builds his boathouse here, it's a no-no, because he wouldn't be able to do it if we give approval to this project here. That's all I have.
Okay, thank you, sir. Mr. Burt Dillon.
Yeah, thank you for the opportunity. I'm gonna speak on, item number 11 about the, 25-foot easement extending beyond the 13-foot easement. These canals are waterways. They're considered navigable waterways. And if everybody built 25 feet in, then we would have no navigable waterway. The other thing is, if the Corps of Engineers ever became involved, they would disallow those structures because they would hinder the use of a navigable waterway. So just on that principle alone, I don't think we can go beyond our 13 feet because we'll be encroaching upon navigable waterways, of which the Corps of Engineers are jurisdictional over that. Okay, that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you. David?
Tornado.
Tornero, okay, I couldn't see the R.
I've been called tornado, you name it.
Council?
First and foremost.
Huh?
So just call it neighbor.
Neighbor. First and foremost, I'm David Tornero. I'm at 16511 Jolly Roger. I've lived here for 15 years, but it took me 3 years to get to Jamaica Beach, yay. That being said, it was brought to my attention, first and foremost, council, I want to introduce myself. I'm David Tornero. I am the chairman of assessments, or what is it? Assessments? Variance. And supposedly it was non-existent, but it's my nerves, excuse me. Supposedly it was non-existent, but here I am. Just wanted to show my face, and I wanted to let everybody know, all y'all guys, I do exist. Okay, so.
What do you do? What's your job? I'm sorry.
Variance, chairman.
Variance.
So, yeah.
Board of Adjustments, actually.
So anyway, Board of Adjustments. And so this was done last year, yeah, and everybody, even, I had a couple of people ask me, when did this happen? And I said it was last year. So here I am. That's all I got.
You work for Jamaica? Next person is Sarah Canopic.
I usually speak well from the heart, but I'll read tonight. Sarah Clark Conifec, 16610 Francis Drake. So I'm speaking on item 12, the water rate discussion. So I want to go on record tonight that I'm currently against any rate increase or enactment of additional fees related to water, trash collection, or drainage. I do not believe the city of Galveston or Mara Waste rate increases should be passed on to property owners and residents as a default action by the city. I believe the city should perform an in-depth analysis of all water-related operations to ensure they have a good handle on all associated processes and procedures. Yes, costs are important and drive most discussions that in meetings and around this community. But more importantly, and often overlooked, public health and in the environment are at risk if the ball is ever dropped. Mr. Quintero, you may have plans to present supporting data tonight, but I strongly believe individuals with a vested interest in Jamaica Beach should be provided with a comprehensive report regarding everything water. By that I mean data and information related to the review and audit of items related to utility revenues, meter readings, validated against billings, expenses for day-to-day operations, emergency repairs, planned, unplanned maintenance, and of course, the long discussed, often discussed, infrastructure replacement and upgrades. Also, all the various consulting, engineering, and similar advisory and research-related efforts that have been going on, plans for the utilization of branch versus other experienced water operations organizations such as USW, TOPS, Infomark, and many others who are experienced with the true operations of water and wastewater operations, not just having licensed employees. The company is an operations company, registered. And then also community communication protocols around water issues. So we don't have people trying to get dressed for work and they have no water. Or we have guests coming to stay at short-term rentals and there's no water. Again, a comprehensive accounting or picture of where Jamaica Beach stands water-wise would be invaluable. Once presented, then it should be clear if raising rates and implementing new fees is justifiable. The city has work to do. The city must convince the community that who pays the bills and who experiences low water pressure, as well as unexpected water outages and leaks, that you have an effective plan, that you're ready to work. It should be cost effective, and it needs to also include how you're managing the contractors and our communications. We need to see the whole picture. We get presented puzzle pieces and never the full picture of the full puzzle.
Thank you.
Just bits and pieces. Thank
you. Sharon Bauer.
Hi, my name is Sharon Bauer. I live at 16720 Sandpiper Road. And Mr. Mayor and City Council members, I'd like to request an item be placed on the agenda for the next City Council meeting. I'm requesting a review and discussion of the budget, detailing expenditures to date, and documenting committed and predicted expenses to the year end. As we're all aware, our water line leaks have been much higher than anticipated, and we budgeted $110,000 for water line repairs. We've already spent in excess of $200,000 for those repairs. I'd just kind of like a status update on how the city plans to handle that. We're going to cut expenses, or we're going to have to pull from reserves. So at the next council meeting, if we could, I think it's worthwhile to show the citizens the budget and let's see where we're at. Thank you.
Thank you guys for your input. Next is reports from directors. It's all in your packet there. I think Branch, y'all pretty much finished. Branch is there. All of that information. Next item will be anything. Robert, did you have something to add?
Yeah, I was brought to my attention that we had some visitors, unannounced visitors at the wastewater treatment plant. And for safety reasons, I would prefer they come check with me or have walk through the wastewater treatment plant with somebody from that we've hired, with the operator there, is dangerous around there and can be very dangerous when don't have any business there. There are signs that says unauthorized personnel is prohibited. I would highly suggest any time this comes up in the future, and in fact, I understand that it might be against, Homeland Security policy, and I've been researching that. But it's just not necessary, please, if anybody does it in the future, let me know about it.
Shouldn't you leave the gate locked?
That's
That's what I'm saying, the gate's open a long time, it's a Homeland Security problem.
There was somebody in there cleaning the yard, and that's why it was open.
Next item will be reports from members of council.
What about Chief?
I think Chief, do you have something you want to say?
Got it all.
Okay, only number three. Alderman Jones, would you like to start?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. I just want to mention, Debbie, as always, I will email you my alderman report to make it easier for you for adding this to the minutes. May I suggest the other aldermen consider doing the same? Debbie spends a lot of time transcribing comments. Last Saturday morning, I stumbled upon members of veterans that call themselves irreverent warriors for their Silkies hike. What a great group of veterans. I only had 50 stars with me, and in less than 20 minutes, I was passing out stars to these humongous men dressed in Silkies. It's an incredible experience to be in the rain in temperatures of 40 degrees to share a token of appreciation from the city of Jamaica Beach. I want to acknowledge Pam Jocelyn, Sarah Konopik, and many others for contacting the Secretary of State and cleaning up any misinformation and or hearsay by getting a detailed answer about voting in Jamaica Beach. Pam and Rick Jocelyn have completed the official voter registration training and will be available to help anyone register to vote. Mayor, I am requesting that you bring Pam's research, which was emailed to all members of council, to our city attorneys, Olson and Olson, and ask for a legal opinion to clear up any misinformation or misleading official statements from the city. 2, share this legal opinion with council and the citizens of Jamaica Beach by posting that opinion on the city website and social media. What I stated on social media was not illegal, Mayor. Your misinformation posted on the city website must be removed. If you or David Welch had contacted me to discuss my interpretation of the information provided to me by the County of Galveston Voter Registration Office, your misinformation posted on the city website and social media may have been avoided. I suspect that you have refused to take the advice from our city attorneys to continue on your own vendetta of voter suppression and intimidation. The citizens of Jamaica Beach are due an apology by the mayor and Alderman David Welch for the misinformation you've given to the city. Mayor, you allowed a personal attack during a city council meeting, and when the people objected, you silenced the people and let it continue. This goes against Robert's Rules of Order. Your role as mayor is to maintain order and to follow Robert's Rules of Order. Mayor, you have a chamber full of people who want to speak to council, but you refused to allow them to address council. You only allow them to address agenda items only. Your duty as mayor is to ensure all ordinances are enforced. You are violating our own ordinance, 2018-2, the rules of decorum. You violated their First Amendment rights to be heard as you limit their right to speak. Mayor, your wife also violated this ordinance by using abusive language during city council meetings. You've limited council meetings to 1 a month. The people and council members have asked you to return to 2 meetings and include a workshop. You have refused. You refuse to answer questions from your own council and end meetings abruptly to end discussions without following proper procedure set by Robert's Rules of Order. The disrespect that you and the Mayor Pro Tem show when someone asks a question or disagrees with you during a city council meeting is appalling. This is not my opinion. One only needs to watch the videos of past meetings for examples. Mayor, as a council member, I was told with an email that I cannot contact city staff for any reason. All questions should be directed to the mayor. You have responded to 6 of my emails for the entire year of 2022. One reply was simply a question mark. Mayor, I was informed not to ask for documents for heads of department. I must ask with a public information request. Then you created the wall of shame and included all public information requests in the agenda packets. This suggests that if a person submits a public information request, they are persona non grata, or out of favor with the mayor. The city has not completed an audit since 2019. Those audits are due within 6 months. We've started the 2020 audit. The 2020 audit. The 2022 audit is due at the end of this month. I suspect that there's been taxpayer money spent without consulting counsel, as I cannot get reasonable explanations about the $2.3 million of encumbered funds. I've asked about payroll, the CARES Act money, the conflict of interest with West End Maintenance, and the alleged hacking where critical documents were reportedly stolen from city computers. These questions have not been addressed. I acquired much of this information with public information request. When I felt this information should be turned over to the Texas Rangers or to the district attorney, I invited you to go with me. Mayor, you never replied. A year ago, 27 people reached out to me with concerns about a former chief of police. I brought their concerns to council. Mr. Hyman did eventually resign under questionable circumstances, but only after he filed a lengthy 4-page complaint against me and threatened to file a lawsuit against the city. Mayor, you continue to push the hateful narrative by publicly posting the resignation letter when you knew 3 months earlier that the accusations against me were unsubstantiated. This is the term the city attorneys used after a very thorough and costly investigation of the unfounded claims. I had to defend myself. I was not provided an attorney to represent me. You've used executive privilege to try to hide the city attorney opinion because you and some on council desired a different outcome. And only one person on council contacted me about the claim. Thank you, Gil. I submitted a public information request for the city attorney decision. You used tax money for this witch hunt. You submitted my PIR to the Attorney General asking that it be client attorney privilege. The Attorney General ruling disagreed and decided to make the complaint public information because we have an open government. I have copies of my letter from the city attorneys, and I'll be submitting this to Debbie, our city secretary, and I ask that you include it in a former employee's file. You're welcome to create a file for me too and include this document. And Debbie, please include this document with the minutes for this meeting. I will be appealing the Texas Attorney General ruling about the documents that you still want to keep hidden from the people. The people deserve to know the truth of this employee's resignation and how you spent taxpayer money. Mayor, I read your 8-page list of accomplishments that are not yours alone. Many things were not your idea, but you take credit. Galveston Councilwoman Marie Robb, Sean Hutchinson, Tom Quigley, Lillian Quigley, Pam Jocelyn, Cindy Roberts, Justin Stiff, John Oakwood, and many others. deserve credit for their work and their ideas. Many see through your deception. You neglected maintenance of the city till just a few weeks ago because it's election time. I was elected to represent the citizens of Jamaica Beach as an equal, and I promised to ask the hard questions and bring concerns that come from the people to this council. And I've done this. I refuse to accept hearsay. I have asked for documented answers seeking clarification of the people's concerns. Because of my questions, you have investigated me, instructed me not to communicate with city staff, ignored my emails, removed my liaison responsibilities without informing me, and tried to silence me from doing the job I was elected to do. This could be considered, interpreted as official oppression, the very thing that I was accused of doing. I have done my best to remain respectful at city council meetings. I have been respectful with my interaction and emails with council and city employees. The city attorneys, Olson and Olson, verified this, and it costs $14,000 of the taxpayer money. I explained to you early on that I would ask questions. I wanted clear answers, accountability, and transparency. You explained to me that you would run the stop sign. In other words, did you plan to not follow the rules or the law? Mayor, you wanted a rubber stamp. You expected me to go play at the park. And how did you put it to me? Stay in my lane. Obviously, I'm not part of the good old boy club. Is that because I'm a woman? You wanted the 5-minute meetings like the previous administration and with little discussion. Mayor, your council consists of Mr. Green, who has never once contacted me. Mr. Roberts informed me early on with an email that he would not respond to my emails. Mr. Welch's actions speak for themselves. Mayor, you have your 3 rubber stamps. You and others on council considered me the enemy by simply asking questions. This is your council, Mayor. This is failure of your administration. In the past few years, the city has lost 2 city secretaries, a city administrator, a chief of police, a director of operations, a lieutenant, and 2 sergeants that I'm aware of. Our city employees call City Hall a war zone. That is a direct quote. Mayor, you created this war zone, not me. I've survived all of your attacks and attempts to silence and discredit me. I will not be bullied, and I'm not going away. We were elected to govern by a form of democracy. We are a constitutional republic to the republic for which it stands, not a dictatorship. Mayor, you are not the city of Jamaica Beach. The citizens are. They are the heart and soul of this community. They deserve clear answers and documentation for the way we spend their tax dollars. They deserve respect, especially if they disagree with you. The citizens of Jamaica Beach is oversight for the actions of the city council. Their power is their vote. Mayor, it's up to the citizens of Jamaica Beach to vote, knowing the entire truth of your administration. Thank you.
Yeah, let's move forward. Okay, let me pass this out. Robert? Okay. Last council meeting, I committed to developing a concept plan for utilizing the city property at the wastewater treatment plant for a dog park. I've gotten a lot of input on this, and the win-win plan that I'm submitting, which you guys have, provides for the Marine Division as well as takes in a lot of citizen comment. I learned a lot about how you feel about this in the last 3 weeks. Good comments, bad comments. Well, I'll tell you how I feel about things like this, and I've always stood for this. Amenities make a community a community. Things like the pickleball court, dog park, the swimming pool, we don't make any money off of it, but it makes our community a real community. This and other development at the wastewater treatment would fall under the 2024 budget. With the exception of the Marine Division, this plan could be funded with hot tax dollars, allowing the $107,200 of our property tax dollars currently in our budget for bulkhead work at the wastewater treatment plant to be carried over to the 2024 budget and be used for critical infrastructure needs planning. That's where we are. Yeah, we have infrastructure problems. But in turn, here, we're responsible for how we spend these tax dollars. To me, we must have logic and a plan and discussion and develop a good solid budget for next year. And it's not too early to start thinking about this. These are two amenity type items in the bin to be considered. Thank you. Any questions?
Thank you. First order is I wish to apologize to Councilman Jones. My comments were inappropriate.
Thank you.
Second thing, I'm going to sound like a broke record here, but 2 meetings per month, please, and a town hall so that we can get, because taking citizen comments and running a business meeting, it creates too long of a drag. But if we had a town hall once a month and say an hour and a half, where we could hear citizen concerns and pick up some great ideas, because we do pick up good ideas from citizens. We just need to give them a better voice. Thanks.
Good idea.
I don't have anything at this moment.
Everyone? I'm sorry, I didn't hear that. No response?
I said I don't have anything at this moment.
Oh.
Wilson?
I apologize for not making the last meeting. I had some family business I needed to take care of. I'm exasperated. I love this city. I work hard for this city, but it's getting more and more difficult lately. Feels like we're playing tug of war. I want it to stop. Please help me, help each other. I'm not going to go any further. How about something positive? All right. We got Easter coming up at the park. I love Easter. That is going to be on the 8th at 10 a.m. Also the following Sunday is sunrise service at the beach presented by Seaside Baptist Church. It's something very good to look forward to. I want to thank the PD and the staff for putting together movie night at the park. I think it's another great idea. Gives us another venue for all of the citizens to get together, get to know one another, and hang out. I would like to make a recommendation for a movie, perhaps Grease would be fun instead of a children's movie. Just my opinion.
Good opinion.
Dress in costume.
Yeah.
I know who you're playing. Okay. I want to thank the heads of departments for the reports. It is fantastic. Gives transparency, gives citizens the things they've been asking for. It's all out there, it's all on the agenda packets. That's just the heads of the departments right there. Also, I want everybody to know that the heads of departments are given 110%. Not only did they have an overwhelming workload with what we had before, but now everything we're throwing on them. If you walk into Debbie's office in the afternoon and you see her 14 different stacks that she has to get to, I just praise her for keeping up. All right. I'd like to welcome Branch aboard, and I'm very excited to be working with them in the future. I've worked a lot with them in the past. They gave an absolutely fantastic report, far above and beyond what I was expecting. We didn't get this with our previous service provider. Not only did they tell us what they were doing, but they told us our immediate shortcomings, our excuse me guys, like I said, I'm exasperated. But not only did they say what we have to do today, they said what we have to do tomorrow and what we should look forward to next week. I mean, that's just proactive. I think they left, but I wanted to give a special shout out.
They're out there.
Are they? There he is. Come in here, Dan.
Shout out.
Guys, this is Dan. I've been working with him for well over a year now. Every time I call him, he has an answer to my question. If he doesn't, he says, Russell, I'll get right back to you. If I call him after hours and says, Dan, I have a problem, he's headed this way. Then he calls me within an hour and sending me pictures and telling me what's going on. So Dan, I want to thank you for going above and beyond with your customer service. The other team at Branch, I don't know if you guys just heard that, your report is outstanding. I love it, and it's proactive. It's exactly what the city needed. So thank you very much.
Cool.
I'm gonna be long-winded, what the heck, everybody else is. All right, the neighborhood's looking up, hands down, no doubt about it. I was driving by the park today, and there's a woman laying on a blanket painting the park sign, and it looks great. All right, right there at the corner of Buccaneer and Jolly Roger, bright colors, beautified. I was
volunteer job.
I was also notified by Debbie Nisbet that she requested that the other signs were in need of attention too, and having those cleaned and freshened up as well. All right. What, Eve?
I'm trying to get I'm sorry.
Okay. You called me off guard. I want to throw a special thanks out to Mr. David Torres. He is our city subcontractor, and he's handling everything from beautification, maintenance, trash, and other projects. He is cleaning the beach daily. He is running up and down the beach on the weekends and emptying the trash cans midway through our holiday weeks. Does everybody remember the trash problem we had over the weekends? Well, I don't know if everybody's realized this, but last year, the mayor, council, staff put in a plan that halfway through the weekends, trash cans got bagged and emptied. I really think we've made huge progress on that point. I had a compliment, and I take this very strong because I love our beach. One of our long-term beachfront residents told me that the beach looks better now than it has in over 10 years. Very proud of that. All right, last one, and proud again. I'm trying to focus positive, people. I'm very proud of our city's accomplishments. Hands down, the projects that I've worked on directly, that I've heard of, the committees that got started, volunteerism, we are moving forward leaps and bounds, and proud to be part of Jamaica Beach. All right, thank you all very much for your time and listening to me.
On to agenda item number 8, the consent agenda and approval of minutes. Do I have a motion of approval of minutes from the regular city council meeting 2-27-2022?
Motion to approve minutes from the regular city council meeting 2/27/2023.
I have a second. All, we're ready to vote? All in favor? New items, new items for business. Discuss consideration of possibly take action to approve ordinance number 2023-07 to establish a dead tree, diseased trees, and dead palm tree branches, rules and regulations. Will I have a motion to discuss?
I'll make a motion to discuss.
A second.
I'll second to discuss.
Mr. Quintero, would you like to fill this in?
Sure, this was brought before council last month, and, I worked with this with, JBIC for approval. There he is right there, Stan, raise your hand. And we actually pieced this together, and, I'm asking for approval on it. If you look through it, it's, I'm not gonna say it's a work in order, in progress, it's a work, it's ready to be passed. And we will, and for future, if we'll work on something to, as an amendment. Okay? We can do that.
Robert, would you elaborate, like you discussed with me earlier today, why this came?
Sure, this has a lot to do with our drainage problem. We are, I mean, when we're cleaning out culverts, you're finding palm branches and the debris that comes from cleaning out the culverts. This is a part of our drainage problem. You guys have ditches in front of your houses that are filled with water over the summer. You complain about mosquitoes. This is a part of the problem. And it needs to be fixed, and this is a simple help rectify the problem.
Dead branches get blown and off of the trees, that's what happens.
Yeah, it goes, and they go unpicked, they don't get picked up by the residents.
Does any council have any questions?
Yes, Mayor.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Thank you. I think this needs a lot more discussion. I have a lot of questions about it. For instance, Paul's idea, you know, there's a lot of us that are living on fixed income, you know, and I'd like to understand how JBIC plays into this. Can the same palm tree have the same lien put on it from JBIC and from the city?
I'm sorry?
Can the same palm tree have a lien put on it from JBIC and from the city? Because JBIC can put a lien on it. And so then the city could put a lien on the same palm tree. We need to clear up these kind of things first.
You're right.
So let's,
That would only occur, I mean, the lien would occur after work had been done.
So, yeah.
So there would only be one complaint.
And just to expound on what Alderman Jones said, I mean, I'm trying to figure out, and when I look at this, I'm trying to figure out what does JBIC do?
Yeah.
And what does the city do? And this, I don't mean to be negative, Robert, but this seems to fall clearly under the auspices of the responsibility of JBIC. And I, you know, if you guys can help me understand what we're supposed to do as council when we have these conflicting organizations. I mean, I'm not against this in what it says, that we do need to get rid of dead trees, we do need to keep the trees clean, but where does the charter of JBIC end, and where does the responsibility of the city begin? And I just don't think this gives us a clear answer to that.
can I add?
Can I say something?
Yeah, please, I would like somebody from JBIC.
My name is Jose Gonzalez and I'm with the JBIC.
Yeah.
We would love to do it. The problem is that without an ordinance, without an enforcer that the city has, there's not much we can do. We can ask them to cut the tree down, it's a safety issue. The tree can fall on their head and kill them, but there's really not much the JBIC can do. The city can do a lot more than we can. And that's why I helped Robert put it together, because it would benefit everybody. It would benefit the JBIC, it would benefit the residents of Jamaica Beach, but we can't enforce it. There's not much we can do.
Okay, one more question, and this is me being my ignorance, and you'll all have to excuse me, because who's in charge of force mowing?
Of what?
When property is overgrown and somebody says,
We do.
So why is forced mowing different than?
Because
dead
we
trees?
charge the owner of that lot to mow their lot. So we take it upon us to mow it for them, but we charge them, we don't make any money.
Right.
Okay, but we do it for the beautification of Jamaica Beach.
So why wouldn't, and this is just, I'm spitballing here, why wouldn't the trees fall under that same auspice that JPSC
It could fall
did?
under it, but the problem is, not one tree will ever be cut down, because there's no way we can enforce it. We can write letters, like we do with everything else, we can write letters and write letters and write letters, but if they don't do it, there's not much we can do.
Yeah,
The city can help us by establishing an ordinance that now it's a rule, it's a law, and we will help. We will help in whatever way we can, and I talked to Tom, your enforcer, or whatever you call it, okay? And we will let him know when there's an issue. So working together, we can accomplish something.
Yep.
So you feel you can't cut down the trees or whatever and charge them for it?
Is there a rule or enforcement for mowing grass?
No.
Oh,
Hey, what I'd like to say is, here's the issue, and a lot of people don't understand this. They are the civil side. The only way they can make them, make somebody do something is through a judicial process and writing letters. We are a criminal side where we can actually write a ticket for and make things happen a lot quicker. And we don't have to go and spend money on attorneys and all like they would have to have that written. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mayor. Like JVAC just said, Jose, that, they write a letter. I don't know why we have to be so strong-armed and just come in and say, here, do this, you've got 15 days. What about just a reminder? Or how about, that we're gonna have a twice a year kind of thing and have, and encourage people to trim their palm trees. But, just to come in as a strong arm and say, you've got 15 days or whatever it is to get this done, 30 days max, with no just a suggestion, it feels pretty, it's just a strong arm to me.
So we're not supposed to even do, lawns, when lawns get knee deep?
I'm just making suggestions. Also, how does our code enforcement officer, is he an expert about palm trees when he's driving around? Is he gonna know the difference between one that's sick or one that's dead?
He's gonna know dead palm.
Yeah, dead palm.
Yeah, he was gonna know dead palm, sure. He just went down the street. I asked him to give me a short account, just going down Buccaneer and Bob Smith, and he counted 135 trees that need to be taken care of. Many of them are dead. So, it's not a horticulture.
We have 135 trees that need to be removed?
Yes.
Actually removed from the.
Yes.
Easily.
Wow.
That are dead.
It's a big problem, and it's a safety issue too. So we have to take that into consideration.
And let me just say this. JBI City, we work together on this. It's a good thing.
Yep.
Yeah, it looks redundant.
If I can say one more thing to answer your question, what does the JBSC do and what does the city do? I joined the JBSC about 2 months ago. I was very confused too. Robert and I sat down and we kind of said, okay, Robert, what do you guys do? What do we do? Okay, we had that conversation. We pretty much cleared what we do and what we don't do. What the city does, what the JBSC does. The palms, the 92 palms on 3005, that's JBSC responsibility. We just cut it down. The Esplanade, that's our responsibility. I don't know if you guys noticed, we finally edged the Esplanade. We edged all of Jolly Roger, which we had never done in I don't know how many years. I don't think it's ever been done. So we try to keep those areas that are common clean and mowed and pretty, okay? Give me more time. I just started 2 months ago and look what we got accomplished in 2 months, okay? So we're gonna get there, okay? We're gonna get there.
You can actually do the palm fronds, trimming them like you do the grass then, couldn't you? I'd say if they got out of hand, you go, well, we're going to, clean your palms, trim your palms, and charge you for it.
I can't make that decision, I'd have to take it to the board to decide that, but we would still need the help of the city to enforce it. We can write letters all day long, guys, okay, we can write letters all day long. But if we don't enforce it and we don't do something about it, you know, and we need the city's help on that.
I just think most
I mean,
people don't wanna
it seems
have
to
their-
me that this is something that's so simple, and we're drowning in a glass of water here, guys. It's so simple.
Yeah.
It's for the benefit of all of us. Let's cut the trees down, let's find a way, we don't have to be rough and tough and mean and we're gonna sue you, this, and that. Just, let's do it the right way, but we have to have an ordinance to do that.
Right.
But if the
So
ordinance
if
isn't
we
written
can
right,
have your help on that,
you end up have open all kinds of, a can of worms about, well, now we can, you know, Big Brother coming in to do this without.
you're not
letting
Big
me know.
Brother, you're my city council. You are my city council.
I mean, we already can, you know, with grass being high, degenerated houses that are having issues, we as a city have a lot more, force than, yeah, a lot more
And
bite.
I'll only use that term because someone said that to me when I asked them about it. Man, they don't want people to come on their yard.
Yeah. But, I mean, Chief, do you have anything to add on how that would be enforced?
I think we talked about it last time. Russell summed it up with discretion. It gives us a tool to have. We're not just gonna go cut you a ticket, put you in jail. We're not cutting your trees.
Exactly.
What we're telling you is the ones that don't say, hey, I'm not gonna cut it, and you're not gonna do nothing about it, and it's up to here. It gives us some reason to do something about it. Discretion is still there again at the end. We don't have to issue, we can go out and warn, we can give them a second warning. But if we come out here next week after 2 months and telling you, you're gonna get this $500 ticket, $200 ticket. That gives us something to use against the ones who do not want to cooperate. It's your community, we're trying to keep it looking good for you guys, for all of you.
Yeah, some of these have been up, I mean, now 2 years, and they're dead, and they're starting to break it out.
Since the, winter storm Uri.
Yeah, you're,
Who knows how to trim a palm tree?
go ahead, Russ.
A couple of thoughts on this. One, I think trees, property, I think it's already covered in our deed restrictions, so we're not the first ones to approach this.
Just remember one thing, the deed restrictions were put together in 1957.
I'm very familiar with that. But it's still, we're following.
So, you know,
Jose, do we still follow the deed restrictions?
yeah.
Okay. All right. That's one point. It's already in the deed restrictions, we're doing it to them. All right. The second thing I want to bring to everybody's attention is the safety hazard. Not only falling on an individual, but what about falling on the neighbor's car? What about falling on the neighbor's house? And what about an infrastructure? What if, right down the street, I noticed one today, what if one of these trees falls and takes out a power line? Not only are we inconvenienced because we're having a power loss, but what about the liability it's gonna concern with a live line on the ground? We need to move this project together somehow. We can't just keep picking it to death. We're kicking the can down the road again.
I don't think we're picking it to death. There's a lot of things in here that I'm very uncomfortable with. I'm very uncomfortable with the fine. I don't mind cutting it down and having the city bill you back. That's super.
Okay.
I'm all about that, but a fine seems to be, we all use the word excessive. A fine seems to be a little excessive when you're already gonna get charged for cutting the darn thing down and whatever administrative overhead is involved with that.
Hey, excuse me, is it a fine or an
It's
administration fee?
It says fine in the ordinance here. I'm just reading what it is.
The thing about the fine is, if I'm a homeowner, and I don't really wanna mess with cutting down the tree, and I know that the city's gonna come cut down the tree and then charge me for it, I'm gonna say, let the city do it, okay? However, if there's a fine, it's gonna cost them a little bit more to do that. And
I appreciate the position, let's say, but I'm still just a little uncomfortable with the fine. we do have a lot of retirees here and folks on fixed incomes, and they probably would have already removed these ponds. Some, and I'm not saying that's the case all the time, but I wanna look out for these people as well. I, you know,
May I ask a question?
No.
What do other towns, and this is not unique, and it doesn't have to be just a pond or a communal tree. What do other municipalities do, other HOAs?
That's the question I had
Benchmark.
too.
Go out and see what other people do.
That's kind of the question I had also.
Would it be better if we changed the term from fine to administration fee?
Sure.
Because it is possible. A ticket, you say, sure?
yeah, why not?
Sure.
Okay, well,
What if we
I'm just, I'm being facetious. It's a fine, you can call it an administration. fee.
Well, it costs the city and it costs the taxes money.
Well, you want to deter it, is what you're wanting, is a deterrent for, what's happening. I mean, that's what we're definitely wanting, so.
I'm not good about the branches either, I don't know what kind of good. Someone else can tell me how many branches, there were too many hanging down.
When they're dead, they're dead.
We're not counting.
It doesn't matter. And that, you
It's,
know.
hang on, guys.
It's getting loud.
It's getting loud, please.
Can we possibly extend the time frame that they have available? It seems like a fairly short window if you're on a tight budget, and you've gotta kind of find the money to do it, and sometimes it's hard to get people to come out here and work if you don't have that contact list. So possibly extend how long they have to take action. 15 days seems a little short, and then another 30 days to get it done.
It's a list of people that'll cut it down.
Yeah, city can't really endorse, you know, what the contractor. Can we talk? Anyway, it's just a suggestion. Can we talk?
I have an idea.
Okay, so what would y'all like to do? Y'all like to go ahead and vote on this one, or put it off?
I move that we table this, we soften it a little bit, we'll take another look at it, and bring it up again. Okay, let's move on.
Yeah, I would also, like, somebody to provide us, and I guess I can do it myself, we need to know what other folks are doing about this.
Yes, that's what I'm.
Like Sarah pointed out, we can't be the only municipality that's had to deal with this.
Okay, so let's,
Motion to table, Mayor?
motion to table.
Second.
All in favor?
You made the motion, it's on.
I did.
Item number 10, discussion, consideration, and possible take action to approve resolution number 2023-06, authorizing the mayor to approve the recommendation from John D. Mercer and Associates for Phase 4 of the Waterline Replacement Project. Motion to discuss?
Mr. Mayor,
Hang on, motion to
I'll make
discuss?
that, I'll make that motion.
Second?
Second.
Okay.
That's coming from.
Mr. Mayor, you all gave permission for Mercer to publish RFP for this work. Ask Brian to come over here and talk about his tabulations in the process. And his recommendation as well.
So, we took the bids a couple weeks ago and, made the evaluation, it's my recommendation, to move forward. Anybody has any questions, concerns?
Questions?
For branch? Brian?
I have just one question,
Yes.
I've read through thoroughly, so
Okay.
I'm comfortable with what you're voting on. What was the calculation area? There was an asterisk at the bottom that said that the bids were adjusted due to some mathematical calculation error. I don't know what it was, but did it really impact?
No, it didn't impact anything to, no, that one, error was on bidder number 3. They had a calculation error from, they had a, Yeah, it was just a calculation.
Well, that's
error.
good. It wasn't.
It wouldn't impact,
Yeah.
their initial bid, I mean, they were the third bidder at 287,896. Low bid was at 207,893, it was $80,000 difference, and it wasn't an $80,000 mistake, it was a $5,000
Yeah.
mistake or somewhere along
Thank
that.
you.
Any other questions or anything?
Brian, I wanna thank you for your.
Yeah, I have a question, and this is the old IT consultant, and anytime I see the lowest bid in a fixed price bid, I wanna ask, what's the provision for change orders?
Well, it's not a fixed price bid, it's a unit price bid. So if the units change just a little bit, we have a contract number, a price in there. So say, we end up putting, take line item number 8 right there. If we end up putting 2,100 foot of, linear foot of pipe in there at $30 a foot, we just make a change order for a bid quantity change order.
Based upon changes in material
Yes,
quantities?
yes.
But no upcharge for the extra labor with that?
No, these unit price bids are equipment, is material, equipment and labor, all included in.
Okay, it's contracted in more silly questions. 'Cause
Okay.
I guess I'm in a nitpicking mood today.
All right, go ahead.
So, now my next question is, how are we verifying any unit changes? I mean, what happens?
For unit changes?
Yeah, say back here line 8, it says 2059
Yep.
units when it's 2200. What's the mechanism for notification for change?
Alright, so, somebody, a representative from my company is the inspector, and Jeff Laney will be the inspector on this project, as he was on the other 3 phases. He worked with the contractor, and and some of these changes will happen because we don't know exactly where all the lines are sometimes. We know this line is about right here and about right there, but, you know, and we may have to move or make some adjustments. So it's verified, they let me know that, hey, look, right here, it was 2,100 feet instead of 2,000, and we verified that they put that much pipe in. When my inspector has a wheel, I have a wheel in my truck too when I come down for inspection stuff, and I'll wheel it off, and you can obviously see from point A to point B where they dug and what they installed. So it's verified by my inspector. And then also if, you know, anybody wants to go out there and take a look at it, you know, while it's under construction, I can walk them through and we can verify it all together.
Yeah, but basically you created a change order and you submitted it?
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, it's like Stacia Patterson, she was with the county and she came out and checked when they were doing road stuff.
Right.
She always kept, every day she was out here making
Yeah,
sure
but,
that.
you know, I'm just trying to figure out, cause my gut tells me that number's gonna go up. And I'm just, you know, it's just my opinion, it's not a fact.
Understand, yeah, and it probably,
And-
so from.
And so, this is a question to the mayor and the rest of the council. I mean, typically when we get these unit price things, we should probably allow for some contingency so we don't have to come back to a vote.
It's already been done.
Okay.
What is our current?
Yeah,
330 something, I
330,000.
think, I don't know.
Yeah, so this project came in under budget already for what was budgeted for.
Under city budget, right, but I'm talking about, cause we're gonna vote and we're gonna approve a expenditure of 207,893.
Right.
Right, should we allow a contingency over the top of that? Because I feel that that's probably going to change.
I will say this, over the last 3 projects, we've had $10,000 worth of combined, at the 3 projects, we had $10,000 change.
I know that to be correct.
And that is, and the main part of that was on the last phase 3, there was a line that we had shown on some previous plans that that went around that we was just gonna tie into it to complete a loop, and we had to add 200 or 300 feet of pipe, and we had to do a bore and stuff to complete the loop. And that's why so many I've talked to several people that was on the Jamaica Cove, when I was out there designing this phase here, that said their water pressure increased after that. So I don't know if, this is what happens when you start looping lines and take 2 inches of lines out of service, and it increases capacity for everybody.
That's all the questions I have. Thank you very much for your time.
Just a comment on that. I've been going around with the gauge as I go around campaign. I go around to the houses and measure the water pressure, and it's been very stable. And people as a whole have more volume, but our problem is volume. It's not pressure, it's volume, as you know, it's volume available to the houses. We're replacing the small lines with larger lines.
Yes, sir.
Which exponentially increases the amount of volume we can supply to houses. What he's talking about, when he makes a loop, that's why it was worth paying for it. You double the amount of houses you can service with a loop.
Yeah, cause then you have water coming from both
Both
sides,
ways.
not just from the dead end you're pulling.
Yep.
And then 2, you have these lines that we are replacing in these last 4 phases, and then for future phases that we have already talked about, is they're 2 inch, or some of them even 1.5 inches.
And we had an 1.25 inch going to the apartment.
And then you have these small lines, and those on the loop system, an 1.5 inch line can only take 15 houses. A 2 inch, 25 if it's looped, but we have way more than that on under a lot of circumstances. So that's why we're upgrading these lines to 4 inch when we're replacing, because it increases the capacity that everybody's house can be on it. So.
I think we'll continue to see a volume increase after this next phase. I think we'll really see it.
Yeah. I think so.
Thank you. I didn't mean to.
No, that's fine.
Sir,
Yes,
first off, I want to thank you for putting together these bid calculations so all of council could see and has provided the correct information.
Yes.
Secondly, if the council was to approve this, how are we at with engineering? What do you expect about mobilization and a start date?
Well, the next phase would be, if y'all approve it, tomorrow morning, I'll get my secretary to write up the contracts and print out the contracts, and I will get them to branch, on Wednesday. And they have 2 weeks to get their bonds and everything, and insurance and stuff, and sign the contracts, get them back to me. Then I'll get them I'll review, make sure they filled out everything correct, then I'll get them to the city. So we're talking, 3 weeks, you'll have them, 3 weeks from today, you'll have them back in your hand, and however long it takes y'all city secretary or city attorney to verify, and y'all to sign them. It's the same, gonna be the same contract, the same stuff, same language that we've used in the previous 3 phases, so it shouldn't take long for that review. So, I would say in 3 weeks, we could set most likely 3 weeks, we'll be able to have the pre-con meeting, and then at the pre-con meeting, it'll be up to Branch's workload and everything. The ultimate plan is to get it done before June, before it gets busy. That's our ultimate plan. Now, logistics, how quick everybody gets everything turned around and everything. We're already, middle of March, so time is of an essence, so.
Yeah, we're on the same page, yeah. Thank you very much, sir.
You're welcome.
I have a motion to approve.
I'll make the motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous?
Phase 4
Amen.
Yep.
of 72.
Item number 11, discussion, consideration, and action to grant, deny a request for a variance to construct 2 boat docks, houses 25 feet from the property line into the canal, such being more than the minimum permitted distance, building line, of 13 feet from the property line on lot 23 and 25 of block 23 in zoning district F1, known as 16600 Curlew Road, as requested by property owner Jack Birdsong. Do I have a motion to discuss?
I'll make a motion to discuss.
A second.
I want to open this up with, the reason this has made it here, we don't have the interim planning and zoning board put together. We've asked for volunteers. We haven't been able to do that.
Planning and zoning, we do have a planning and zoning.
No, but we don't have the CBA. Yeah.
Yeah, we do. I'm gonna challenge that, but go ahead.
We have a zoning board of adjustments?
Yes, we do.
Who is it?
Here, let me just, I know this is a shocker, okay? And you guys correct me, but, in our February 21, 22, in our city council meeting minutes, okay? We passed an ordinance 2022-03, creating a board of adjustments. And this is, if you read the document, it is a zoning board of adjustment, all right? We created it. The motion passed. The vote was 3 ayes, Madre, Jones, Rubitus. We also, at the same meeting, okay, we passed a resolution 2022-01 to appoint the officers of the Jamaica Beach Board of Adjustments and authorize the officers to perform all necessary and appropriate duties to conduct business by the Board of Adjustments. And here it is. I have copies of it, their names and everything. Am I off base? Am I off base here?
Who are the members?
Sir?
Who are the members, or is it?
Yeah, well, I do have that.
Okay.
It's the only one I did bring a copy of. So thank you. Here it is.
David, you have it?
Yeah, the city council hereby adopts the following resolution. It is hereby created a board of adjustment for the city of Jamaica Beach. The members shall be appointed to serve a 2-year term. Positions 1, 2, and 3 on the board shall be for a period to end on the 31st day of January 23rd. Positions 4 and 5, the board shall end on the 31st day of January 2024. Subsequent appointments shall be for 2-year terms of positions 1, 2, and 3 ending 31st day of January of odd numbered years, okay? The individuals named below are hereby appointed to the Jamaica Beach Board of Adjustments. Position 1, David Tornero, Chairman. Vice Chair, Position 2, Sharon Bauer. Secretary, Position 3, Steve Walker. Position 4, Joe DeFore. Position 5, Mike Pringle. Alternate 1, Deborah Tabbett. Alternate 2, Kaylin Williford. Okay. And that's it.
Gil, could you repeat that ordinance number for me, please?
Sure.
Thank you.
I mean, look, guys, yeah, I've only been an alternate for 1 year and 8 months. I've worked hard to learn, and I worked very hard following up on this stuff. And I remember this meeting specifically.
What was the number?
Here we go. The city minutes. 2022-03. And, okay.
What date was that, if you don't remember?
And the next one.
The date.
Oh, the date is, let's see, I'm sure they're both the same. Here we go. passed and approved the 21st day of February, 2022, and the vote will read that.
Go ahead.
Now,
I looked for anything on ZBA and in our old ordinances, and I could not find one, so this is news to me. Okay, I did look at all minutes, I did not.
listen, this whole process, and I want to speak to that. In my opinion, we are not following due process. Okay? And I want to read what due process is. Due process is fair treatment for the normal judicial system, especially as a citizen's entitlement. My understanding, and I'm not an expert, but I've read a lot on this. My understanding is how this variance system should work is that citizen, maybe it's Mr. Jackson, he needs a variance, he applies for a variance, the P&C board reviews this variance, they in turn make a determination, they make a recommendation to city council either approves, disapproves, what have you, okay? If Jerry is not happy, he can ask for an appeal to the Board of Adjustment. The Board of Adjustment, by grant of the mayor, has full authority to, their decision is final. They take this determination, they review it, and they make a decision. If Jerry isn't happy, his next recourse is a court of law.
Yeah, judicial.
That is due process. And what I'm trying to say is, you guys have all the experience. We step out. Once we get out of the bounds of due process, you talk about a liability
We're
to
not
the city?
trying, we're not trying to do that at all.
Well, that's just what we are doing.
No.
Okay, it went to, first, the permit was denied by the city inspector.
That's standard, because it doesn't meet the permit
Allow me to
requirements.
finish, allow me to finish. Then it was taken to the P and Z. The P and Z asked some questions to, wanted me to get some clarification from the city attorney. I got those questions, and the city attorney suggested, well, actually said, it should have even gone to the Z, allow me.
Sure,
To P and Z. It should have gone directly to the zoning board of adjustments when the permit was denied. I was unaware of the, zoning, ZBA, okay? So the next process would be the city council with the absence of a ZBA. Now, that's how I went through the city attorney's office.
Okay.
And those were his suggestions.
Listen, Robert. Here it is, to do due process, and this is a state, this structure is set up by the state. We're following state law.
We realize that
Municipality law. So, are there, I may not stated it perfectly, but I think intent is correct.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
And that's what we have done and are trying to do.
We are trying to do that, and that's what I'm trying to not let us get. Here's the thing. Our P&C must make a determination and send a recommendation to city council. Whatever it takes for them to do it, they have to do it.
The city attorney said it wasn't the P and Z to make the decision. It was the planning, when the permit was denied, it was to go to the planning the ZBA.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
what legal
That's what
told us.
legal told us.
It's right there in your paper.
I read this, and another thing that disturbs me, this was done on March the 6th, and I'm getting this here today in this meeting.
This is a confidential between city and legal.
Okay, so now I'm being told about it confidential.
Well, we didn't want to post it online with the regular packet because it was confidential.
Okay, so have P&Z make a determination and cite whatever you want okay, and send it to city council to approve going to the board,
Okay. And
That is my,
that is where we're at. The planning and zoning has heard it. What was the exact ruling?
They was still on a standstill. They wanted the opinion of the city attorney. The city attorney came and said, no, this should have never gone to P and Z. It should have gone to the ZB, zoning board of adjustments.
Here we go, we'll go ahead.
Pardon me for interrupting. So then you should take it back to P and Z first and let them know what the city attorney's thing is, so that you're not nullifying their positions.
Very
And
well.
then bring it back.
They said, don't bring it. It should have never went.
It should have never went there, but they should be notified. I agree with
They
that.
should be notified.
They should, because they spend a lot of time reviewing and back and forth questions, so they deserve that courtesy. Okay, but we have to go to the Z.
Yeah, in
zoning
fact,
board
I'd
of
like to
adjustments.
make a motion,
Well,
okay?
I think you're.
I move that we direct P and Z to revisit Mr. Birdsong's variance request, make a determination, whatever it may be, and for whatever reason, and present that to city council, and we will vote on your recommendation. Thank you.
Well, I would say we need to make a motion to go to ZBA. And then go.
That's not his motion, though.
Yeah.
You
And then
can't
we,
miss that step, sir.
and then we proceed from there.
Okay, let me ask a question of Alderman Andre. So we're not gonna take the opinion of the legal advice, I mean, our counsel.
I didn't say that. What I said is due process, the way the system works. Planning and zoning needs to make a determination, give us a recommendation. I don't care what that recommendation is and how they derive it. I hope they will do it in a good way. They send it to us, we will vote on it, and it will go to the Board of Adjustment, if necessary, if that's what Mr. Birdsong desires.
You know, I've been at this for 8 months. 8 months trying to get this done. Is it frustrating from this?
And if we do not do this properly, we have not done due diligence.
Well, I think it says in those, I don't know how many of you have read the ordinances or not, but doesn't it say the city council can act as a board of adjustments?
If there's not one in place.
Come on.
I can't hear you.
Come up here, please,
Mr.
Ted.
Burton.
Thank you. I can't hear you.
And I don't know, there's over 100 ordinances. I don't know if any of us will ever know all of them completely, but I'm pretty sure I read in there that the city council can act as a board of adjustments.
I believe that's put in place of if we didn't have one.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Jack, this is done and this Board of Adjustment is put in place so that our decision isn't political. It's shared, it protects you from that.
Well, like I said, I'd just like to move this thing, get this thing done. You know, I'm sure Robert and Debbie and everybody's tired of hearing me.
I'm not.
So, but this has been a process that's just been way too long. And, you know, hopefully, who's on that Board of Adjustments, you know, can read all the ordinances and become familiar with them and judge by that and not what the general public wants to make accusations of. That's all I ask. And do the right thing.
Yes, sir, that's good.
And soon.
Go ahead, Ron.
My suggestion would be to pull it from the agenda.
Yeah, pull from the agenda and.
Let the P and Z, the courtesy of knowing what's going to happen next, and then call it, ZBA meeting.
And that's why, you know, like I said, it's good that we've got to this point, but, we apologize that we are gonna have to take another step back, but I promise you, we will try to accelerate this as fast as we can.
As fast as possible.
You know, Moody will get with him and see about when they can meet, and then, the ZBA, see when they can
I'm
get.
gonna try to do it all in the
What's the
same meeting.
Zoning Board Adjustments.
But you should come to council first. This is, listen, I'm serious. Due process. Go ahead and skip it, okay? Go ahead and skip that.
We're gonna go by what legal wants us to do and exactly how they want us to do.
Yeah, I haven't really
So-
seen that in a way that's satisfactory
So,
to me.
With the courtesy of having a P&Z meeting, cause they've done a lot of work on this. Okay?
Right. Yeah, we'll kick it back to them and then, but we need to get with them and say, can y'all have a special meeting here?
Well, I have other P&Z issues coming up, so
Yeah.
we'll do it as fast as possible.
Yeah.
We're saying that your P&Z committee is not capable of doing it.
We just said
That's
we're
not
gonna
what I
have them
said.
look at it.
That's what you're saying.
No. Okay, we're gonna, guys, yes,
Can I get one thing?
Yes, sir.
I have some other information that I was gonna pass out to you guys. Is it possible to get that information to, the Board of Adjustments, and I give it to you guys? And
yes, give it to Robert, to make sure.
Can I do that tonight?
You know you can't.
I'm leaving tomorrow.
Yeah, you know you can.
Jack, I'm gonna add it to your file. Gotcha, buddy.
Yeah. Thank you, sir, and we apologize. So,
Here a second.
to, pull that, like motion to pull that from the agenda?
I make a motion to kick it from the agenda after that. Excuse me, a motion to pull it or table it?
Table it.
Table it. I would like to make a motion to table that item for now.
Second. All in favor? Okay. Next item is number 12, discussion, consideration to possibly take action on raising water rates, refuse fees, and adding a drainage fee due to vendor and rate increases. Motion to discuss?
Robertus, motion to discuss.
Second?
I'll second.
Robert, you wanna start lead out with that?
Yes, I'm going through the ordinances I have. We have gone up on our water rates since 2017. I have my notes here. Like $2.75 per household. I mean, for our water. Now, I was gonna recommend, I don't remember the lady's name back there. Sarah? Every one of your suggestions were on the money. Okay, and I would like to do an analysis, but I can't do it by myself. I'm asked council to allow me to find a consultant that would help me do this, because it's gonna take some work. But this is one of those things that, as soon as we get it done, we need to have action on it. So that's what I'm recommending. Because we're continuing to put, I'm sorry?
We're losing money.
Yes, indeed.
Well, we need a lot more documentation, data,
And that's
and
why.
numbers before we can make a decision.
No, and this is why I said a consultant could help me put this thing together.
And I would say this, here's what we gotta be careful of. What little bit we're talking about raising, we could blow that right there with consulting.
Yes, it can.
I mean, what we're trying to do is subsidize some issues we're having. And we're just trying to temporarily subsidize that. Well, go ahead, Russell.
Please, anybody else first?
I'll just say there's no such thing as a temporary government.
Absolutely. It doesn't exist in this
Do me a
world.
favor, would you give me a piece of pipe to show the audience? You know what I'm talking about.
Sure.
What was
It's in our museum.
There's no such thing as a short-term.
Hold on a second, everybody.
We do something like that, sunset. We have to have a sunset.
Right, like I said, we just need to do something sooner. I agree. Yeah, I agree. I mean, most of the people that laugh about this don't understand the difficulty we're really facing.
Well, if it's that critical, we should also look into getting a bond and doing all of it at the same time.
And we're in the midst of looking at that, but that is a long process, and that's hiring outside resources. Go ahead, Russell.
I appreciate where everybody's coming from, but I've dug into this. Sarah, you had some great information. However, I believe a lot of it's been provided. We've had engineers out here that have monitored our water systems and given us assessments. That's why we're already on phase 4. So we've had some of the system checked out and reviewed, and they've provided us bids and told us which comes first, which comes second. The communication with the city, I've been trying to communicate and describe to everybody how in dire need this is. I love the idea of other people's money. I'm all for it. I love the idea of bonds, grants. However, those things take time, and I feel like we're beyond the, what's the term? Threshold. That deadline's passed. If we don't do something immediately, right now our fiscal budget, somebody else commented on it, out of our water repair budget, we are over it by 100% this year. And it's not because we're moving more water around entirely. It's not because it's anybody's fault. What happened is the shelf life of our materials in the ground has met it's expended its lifeline. This right here.
Those are the lines we're replacing.
Yes.
That's what he's saying.
That's what we're doing.
That's what's breaking.
And
the ones at the left end maybe, but the new ones are 4-inch. That's what we're replacing.
yes, and that's why I'm trying to generate money to pay for it.
To get it replaced soon.
That on a faster basis.
Yeah.
On a faster basis.
Can I add on to this point?
Yeah, please, Brian, jump in here with me. This is what's supplying our city. It's a foot under the ground, so people running over it, it's inadequate.
This is what y'all have in a lot of this city. It's not even, it's irrigation pipe. It's not even supposed to be water pipe. And its lifespan is 20 to 25 years. This was put in the 50s. This is 70 years old. The reason that this system is failing the way it is now is because it's way past its capacity. And it's way past its lifespan. We are working. We're on phase 4 now. I mean, I just did an assessment. There's still 67,000 feet of this in your city right now.
How much have we replaced to date?
Ma'am?
How much have we replaced to date?
Uh,
Out of the 4 phases, you didn't hear them all.
yes, ma'am, I did
Okay.
hear them all. I want to say it was 20,000, about 20,000,
It was 67 to go.
and 67,000 more to go.
And we've spent about 350, including engineering and lay. We spent about 400,000 each per section. 300.
Yeah, I did that. I did a spreadsheet
I'm
for
just
that
trying
the
to
other
do
day.
a-
No, I did a spreadsheet on that. I did a spreadsheet on that the other day. Yes, somewhere on that. Yes.
So when we finish phase 4, we'll spend about $1.2 million.
Collectively.
Yeah, on all 4?
Yes. On
Okay.
all 4. Yes.
Okay. Add inflation, extrapolate that out, we've got another 60,000 delay at,
I did a
20,000.
He's got all that
I did-
information he's working on.
Yeah.
So we've got about $4 or $5 million left.
Yep.
That's about exactly what I came up with, on some rough calculations, about 6, I think, with.
And we've been working on seeing what it would take
To do it at one time.
to get that either all at one time or some of the other. We've got, federal government has $90 billion they're giving out, and we're trying to get some of that right now. Robert's working on that.
Please
And we're-
continue.
Yeah,
Brian.
Brian, continue, please.
So, anyway, that's the reason. So the maintenance had been neglected for years, for the water and sewer, like, for years. Over the last 5 years, we've recognized it and we're working on it and trying to make it better. And we're continuing to work better. I mean, phase 5 is under design right now. It was approved for me to go ahead and design phase 5, and the money will be to get into the budget to construct phase 5 at next fiscal year. So the goal is, as soon as October 31st rolls around, the next phase will be designed. It can be constructed, and they'll order, hopefully y'all can approve me to do phase 6 and we'll go, or whatever. And but this right here is not to anybody's standard today. I mean, this thin wall pipe was not meant to be a full-time water pipe for 70 years. Maybe it was, and like today, you couldn't install this. Like TCQ wouldn't let you install this today. 70 years ago, when it was put in, it was allowable, but it's not anymore. So, yes, ma'am.
My point about information, I understand all of this. Everybody understands 70-year-old pipes, technology from the 50s.
Mhm.
Everything has moved forward.
Yes,
That's
ma'am.
one piece. My
Yep.
thing is a comprehensive view of everything going on, every place we are spending money, and how we are managing everything about water, including the communications that should be coming out consistently out of City Hall every time the water's gonna be turned off, what the status is, and when it should be turned back on. Sometimes it's on Facebook, sometimes it's on Blackboard, and you get a text. It's inconsistent. We want comprehensive, we've seen checks for large amounts of money to all kinds of resources tied to water. It's a comprehensive picture of everything. How we operate, how we manage our contractors, how we should have managed USW to the contract that we wrote with them, because they should have been reporting monthly. They should have been held accountable by somebody here in Jamaica Beach, and they were not. So it's all of these things, and why we're in the shape we are.
You're making statements that are
Well,
not
it's what
factual.
I read from the contracts when they were signed, the RFPs.
To say nobody's been checking those.
Okay, but anyway, we're supposed to be monthly reports.
It isn't this guy's review for that. He just showing you.
That's why we have
pipe.
engineers.
Thank you.
Get out of there.
Thank you.
Thank you, Brian.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks, Brian.
Now,
Go ahead. No, go. So you.
okay. I would love to have comprehensive reviews over everything and post when we're gonna have a water leak, how we're gonna have a water leak, when we're gonna have an emergency. We're doing the best we can. We're minimal staffed. I would much rather have our team out there focused on trying to move projects ahead within reason instead of discussing what we're thinking about moving a project ahead. We gotta find a happy balance. I appreciate that you want transparency and information, and we've been providing that over the last year more than ever. We have reports, check registries, videos, documentations, websites, email addresses. So we've tried to address that, but you gotta have a balance. We can't spend all of our time talking about our day-to-day operations. At some point, we've gotta get our boots on the ground, all right? We could either continue, you've heard the scale of this project. If we continue funding it like we are, we're looking at 10 years. Within that 10 years' time, if we keep going like we're going, we're gonna spend double in repairs. The reason I put this on the agenda, the reason I feel this is so important is I don't wanna spend money on repairs. I wanna get ahead of this. It's nobody's fault. The previous administration didn't know, but we keep going like we're going. We don't have the money for the repairs, so we're gonna spend the money we have for the improvements on repairs. It's bad business. The municipality, the water system in the city, let's face it, it's a business. And currently we're losing money. We can't keep up with the city's needs. Our growth, our influx has overpassed our system. My family has 3 properties in the neighborhood. The last thing I wanna do is pay more on my 3 different water bills. However, it's our duty to do our due diligence to figure out a way to help fund, fix, and get ahead of these things. We're working on other means of funding. Talking to the county, talking to the state, bond, everything. But until then, I feel as though we need to be proactive. I'm adamant about this. I'm not asking for anything huge, but right now, our budget is upside down by 100% on this one line item. We're in the first quarter. We have 3 quarters to go. We cannot finish out our budget 400, I might be exaggerating, excuse me, I'll take this seriously. We cannot finish out our budget year over. We have to find the money somehow. So I asked for this rate increase. I've been on top of this water project, pushing it. I love the term. I want the water to come and go out of the city. And right now, I feel that this really needs to be our top priority. I feel that this money's well spent. Robert did some investigating for us. The city of Galveston has raised our rates. Okay, we've encumbered that. We haven't passed that on to the city. I mean, let's face it, today's days and age, all the prices are going up. You know, we've got to add to keep up with that. Robert had a wonderful idea about a drainage plan, because drainage has been an issue lately. And then on our refuge terms contract has also gone up. Now, I don't know any other way to do this. If somebody has a better idea, please tell me, but we gotta keep up with the expenditures.
I have an idea, Russell.
I'm not gonna go back and
You
forth
asked,
on all-
I'm gonna tell you my idea.
Good, could you email me, please?
No,
Can
I'm
we
gonna
follow
tell
the
you,
correct
I think
form?
we quit spending money on
Dan,
signs.
excuse me, we're
Word,
following
yeah.
protocols here,
I
okay?
got it, you asked.
Oh, well, please, send me an email, I look forward to it. My email address is rwordcurtis. This council has procedures, policies, and rules, and it's for a reason, and I'm doing my best to follow them. I would expect everybody's respect to do the same, okay? I am readily available on email.
Hey, Russell, I appreciate what you're saying, and I understand it. But the key thing that you said was due diligence. And you made a wonderful speech, but due diligence. There it is. We need a real plan, we need the numbers, we need to know what we're gonna spend this money on.
That's what we have a budget for, and that's
No,
what we've decided on.
to increase, to justify and increase.
We have it.
Yeah.
It's
I
readily
understand.
available. We just got our first quarter.
So you want to raise the rates, let's create a justification for that.
$100,000 or 100% over in
Why?
repairs.
But I mean, is that gonna continue? That's
Yeah.
one line item.
You saw the plastic.
Excuse me?
Don't you think it's gonna get worse?
Yeah.
I do.
I don't think
No,
these
I
lines are
don't
gonna
think
get better.
it will get worse.
Yeah.
I really don't, but
You
we
don't
don't
think it's gonna
know.
get worse?
I do.
See, that's it, but we're just talking. It's just
I
talking.
mean,
There's no justification, no numbers,
Yeah,
no reason to justify the money.
as you add more pressure, all these pipes are gonna, every
We're gonna
fitting
get more
is
breaks.
No, I have no clue. We're replacing them as we go. We've had a rash of problems, and we have work orders, and I don't want to be. How much of this money is spent, is work orders, how much of this is for actual waterline breaks?
It's all.
Each and every
A work
thing has a
order.
work order.
When there's a break, a work order is generated. They're not
Yeah.
two different things.
But yeah, they are.
No, they're not.
Okay, we've got work orders, we're gonna print them out, we're gonna see, I'm gonna print them out, we're gonna see how many of those were actual water line breaks. And also on these work orders, it would be helpful if we have a water line break to put the address and where it is on that work order.
It is.
We're starting to do that now.
All of this information is already available.
Not available, but
Yes, it is.
it will either show on the work order if it's there or not.
How long has the city been doing work orders?
I started it.
Since you started here?
Even before that.
Well, I don't know, but I just know that we've been doing it here since I started. I just know what my predecessor did.
Okay,
Yeah,
thank
and I'm
you.
not being critical of the system, this is the type of data we look at.
Yeah.
Where we really spent this money, you with me? It's not critical, it's not.
We know where we spend it, we just look at the checks.
You know what we spent.
Yeah.
We actually specified.
Well,
We
hold
looked at it.
on, man,
Go
let me
ahead.
just clarify it. If it's in the water budget, it's taken out of the water budget. If other work is done, it's taken out of that line item.
I'm not questioning what that cost anymore.
Well, yeah, you are. You're saying it's all water, everything's being charged with
That's
water.
water.
It's not. Whatever the work is being done out of the water, but, line item, it's taken out of the line item. If it's something else, it's taken out of that line item.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's not all taken out of the water. But the overrun, yes, it is the water line item.
Excuse me, Mayor, we're getting off topic and it doesn't seem like there's any support at this time. I'd just like to go ahead and table that option.
Okay. All in favor of tabling item number 12? Second. All in favor?
But it's good to have it, Russell.
Let's
Don't
keep kicking
expect-
that can down the road.
So no. Woody, how'd you vote? So, next item is mayor's report. We have done so much right here. I mean, we have done a lot of good stuff. We've had a lot of great accomplishments. And yes, we had money set aside for us to get this done for previous administrations. And we made it happen. What I wanna know is what was the difference that what Dave's report was last week that he got so ridiculed about and what just happened with Taz to me. I mean, there's a big issue there. I mean, why is it okay one way and not the other? I've been trying to deal with this and I've ignored a lot of it and I've had a lot of unanswered attacks. As far as for the voter suppression coming, that answer is coming. And it's going to make a lot of people very happy. I've ignored a lot of the public misinformation, thinking, well, it'll be all right. Well, it's kind of grown now. She says that she and I have never met and it was always short meetings. There was at least 30 meetings that she and I had before she was elected and after that were 1 hour, 2 hours, and more. And I proudly sat in there and discussed things with her. As far as the meetings, twice a month, we had done that, and it's a big ordeal for our staff to, because all these are legal meetings, and there's gotta be agendas, and they gotta be posted, and there's gotta be, so what we did is we got together and we said, hey, how about if we make 2 meetings once a month? Let's do a meeting at 5:30, and then have our 6 o'clock. Debbie would send out, the week before, hey, anybody have anything to discuss? How many times did you think you sent those out, Debbie? And didn't get any replies? Several times?
Some of the aldermen did respond, some didn't, so. Some we had lists, some didn't.
But we wasn't going to come and have a meeting, a 5:30 meeting for 2 items. We wanted several items, so we would try to bundle them together and say, okay, to make the best time out of everyone, we would do one at 5:30 and one at 6. And the 5:30 meeting was an interchange. It was and I have this available for anyone that wants it. There are 5 types of state meetings. I will be having that on my Mayor Clay Morris website, and it will give everyone exactly by state law the types of meetings we're able to have and all those rules that go with each one of them. What I want to do is the 5:30 meeting would be about what we're going to be talking about in the next month's meeting. So we always had time to keep things going. Well, that hasn't worked. It's worked well when it happened. And we tried, but the thing was, there was just not a lot going on that we needed the 5:30 meeting. And to be truthful, like today's meeting was nothing like what a business meeting's supposed to be like. But I get ridiculed for that I am a authoritarian. I think today was pretty good, with a good exchange of information. And many of our meetings have been just like that. I mean, I am available. I mean, everyone knows. So they call me, I go, we visit, we're always talking, and we're always exchanging ideas. She says no, and the reason, because the harassment that came at me when I would answer something and then prove it. Let me see, where does it say it? Here's where it says, Okay, I got tired of proving it. Prove me wrong. Because I can tell you, one of the reasons we have had a higher legal expense is not just because of her actions with having to make sure we wasn't liable from her actions on her Facebook page about Chief Hyman. It's because of me, because I call, I get information, I ask questions, I make sure I am right whenever I state something. When I am quiet, that's when you need to be worried, because I am checking on things. I'm not going to make a statement till I know I am correct. That is what I owe everybody here, not just be mad and make a comment based on emotion. I don't work that way. You in a hurry? You in a hurry?
No, I'm never in a hurry. Okay. I got all night.
The CARES Act, since she's brought that up, I do want to address that. When she came to me, and there again, Dale knows. I mean, he's been there. He was part of that. When all that happened, we had Sean Hutchinson, who was the city administrator. He signed off on that pay. Steve Spicer, our current mayor, said, okay, let's bring it in front of city council. Me and most everyone up there, except these two, were there at city council and agreed of the pay. That's it. That's all that needed to happen. But yet, to get the spin that she wants, she started accusing. She even brought it to the DA, Galveston County DA. Guess what happened? Nothing. But who keeps bringing up it as something has occurred? I was talking about the liable. Yeah, I want to make sure with the lawyers. The accomplishments that we've done, it's been incredible. We have worked hard. We have, in general, worked as a team. The ones that chose to be part of the team in a constructive way, and we've done good. I speak, like I said, I speak to y'all all the time. Yes, there is certain individuals that I don't answer emails to because it's the same emails. I have that right. I have that right. If I've answered your email once, twice, I'm not answering the same question again. This is an unpaid position. I got a lot more important things and a lot more other citizens who need me to do something productive. If you have a problem with it, sorry, man.
Can we pull the minutes from that meeting, sir?
You can pull them up, do whatever you need to with open records request. That's the proper channels of doing it.
I believe we did.
I'm speaking right now.
It's at 7:08 an hour, not 42.
I'm speaking right now. Thank you.
Just like clarify it.
Let me see, I guess that's about it. Other than that, motion to adjourn?
Make that motion.
Second.
One
Thank you,
thing,
sir.
here's this plan, if anybody